Hello, I'm the musical historian. If it's to do with music and history, I'm in. September 1914.
The German advance is brought to a halt in the First Battle of the Marne. The French bring 6,000 men to the front by Parisian taxicab, giving a boost to morale in Paris. The British Expeditionary Force does an about-turn from its retreat and splits the German assault. The resulting battles at the River Aisne and the series of flanking maneuvers by Allied and German forces, known as the Race to the Sea, set the front line for the next 4 years. The British ask to be repositioned nearer the English Channel to simplify supply lines and are placed near the town of Ypres. Meanwhile, in music, a pre-war comic tune about "those simple Irish" is quickly becoming a popular marching ditty for soldiers who are a long, long way from Tipperary.
It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl.
The history of why copyright law and public domain is in such a state these days is a long and complicated one. If you want to read the entire headache-inducing document that I'm summarizing here, you can click the annotated link. You'll have to bear with me here. I'm a musician, not a lawyer, so if I get terms wrong, it's probably because they don't mean all that much to me. The whole thing revolves around, in the US at least, two conflicting models of law. Common law, an import of the British legal system, and Queen Anne's statute laws on copyright for published works, also an import of the British system. The difference? Common law says the author keeps his copyright indefinitely. Queen Anne's laws say that publication of a book forfeits the common law copyright for the author and grants the copyright to the initial publisher, who then has a statutory period before the book becomes public domain. A good law. Too bad everyone has been screwing with the law ever since. The initial law did not apply to anything other than books. Things besides books were added to the copyright protection, maps and charts, all sorts of things. When music recording devices were invented, things began to get a bit weird. Player piano rolls, believe it or not, started the nonsense. The courts decided that since you can't read a player piano roll, then it wasn't sheet music, so it wasn't copyrightable as such. Then they went a step further and said that recorded music constituted a new performance each time it was played, so it really wasn't published per se, but just something else. But that decision meant that the next case on the subject, dealing with a recording of an opera company in the 1920s that was published with a statement on it prohibiting radio broadcast. This time, the courts ruled that an audio recording is only a limited publication, meaning that the publisher keeps control of playing rights indefinitely, and also meaning that Queen Anne's wonderful copyright law no longer applied to recorded music, and therefore it reverts to common law copyright, which, if you recall, has no expiration date. This wretched state of affairs went on until 1972, when the federal government decided it would be bothered to look at the mess after all. Their decision dragged copyright law, for all future publications anyway, kicking and screaming into the 20th century, aligning it with copyright law for books, films, etc. A copyright law that had already undergone significant change over the last few years as a result of many companies, Disney being the most famous example, not wanting to lose hold of their valuable copyrights. As the copyright stands, it is death of all contributing parties plus 70 years. And no doubt by the time death of all contributing artists plus 70 years rolls around, the interested parties will have found a way to rewrite copyright in their favor yet again. But what about the music pre-1972? Surely that was also brought into line with other copyright law, where anything pre-1923 is in the public domain. But unfortunately, no. Public domain will not arrive for any work of pre-1972 recorded audio until 2067.
So the silver lining to this particular cloud is that the songs are not under copyright. That is, the recordings are under copyright, the songs themselves are public domain. So I can sing any of these songs and incorporate as much of that as I like into my documentaries. I just have to be careful how much and how I use the copyrighted initial recordings from the turn of the century. In light of that, I'm going to end today's episode with a song that's in honor of all the different artists who sung It's a Long Way to Tipperary, including the soldiers of the First World War, who not only enjoyed the song with its initial lyrics, but enjoyed rewriting the lyrics for their own amusement, the most common and popular version being That's the Wrong Way to Tickle Mary. Mine won't be quite so colorful, but I'm going to sing It's a Long Wait Till Public Domain. It's a long wait till public domain, it's a long wait till then. It's a long wait till public domain, and just don't ask why or when. Goodbye, commentaries, farewell, fair use claim. It's a long, long wait till public domain, and Disney's to blame.